Hello and welcome to another evening in sport. And I'm afraid to sport one more day. This is the 5th of January 2023. This sport is thin on the ground again, or at least from my point of view, it seems to be anyway. Maybe in Azerbaijan there's something going on, maybe some ladies handball or something, but I haven't been told about that. So yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit of past stuff and a bit of soccer tonight. And the World Cup that was on last year, one of the better ones, I suppose, because Argentina won. I'm always kind of fond of them. Not desperately fond of Mr. Messi, but yeah, it was nice to see them winning. Good final. Mbappe getting a hat trick. People talk about World Cups, and I guess for young people, maybe don't have the memory, but for us of a certain vintage, I think the one World Cup that would stand out in so many ways was the World Cup in Spain in 1982 for many different reasons. First of all, you had the Brazil team that time, which I honestly believe was the best Brazilian team I've seen. Okay, they were a little weak at the back, but my God, up front they had so much, and there's so many wonderful memories of players like Falcao, Socrates, Ider, um, just wonderful goals. That team, you know, I know people said the 1970 team might have been better, but I'm old, but I'm not that old. I don't remember that one. But yeah, that Brazilian team lit up that summer. And then you had a French team who came from nowhere. Basically, I remember in the first game, they were easily beaten by England, of all teams, 3-1. I think Brian Robson got a couple of goals. And they looked like, they were out of things, but they came good, and they had that wonderful midfield of Platini, of course, Jures and Tigana, and were possibly unlucky not to win the World Cup. I mean, you had unusually for a World Cup, you probably had five, six potential winners: Brazil, of course, France, Germany, Italy, and possibly England would say after beating France 3-1, they had a chance as well. But England being England, it's not going to happen, is it? Yeah. So I suppose the keynote of it, and just remembering back again, I was quite young at the time, but the big meeting was Italy and Brazil, and Brazil had come through the first round, scoring goals all around them. Poor old Pat Jennings, I remember picking a few goals up, and a lot of them from long range as well, like superb goals. And they're coming up against Italy, who again, Italy had started slowly, and the team hadn't really come together yet. And you had a guy called Paolo Rossi, who'd luckily, I think, or maybe not just, it just wasn't about luck. It was actually the Italian Confederation who got him off. He was suspended for betting on games or something, or drugs, I don't know. So he'd come in as the striker, and then, it's one of those amazing achievements, a dream come true, where against Brazil, where Italy were given very little chance, Rossi scores a hat trick, and Brazil got through 3-2. And I was actually, for I'm not sure why I got this. I'm strange that I was actually shouting for Italy in that game. I guess I like an underdog. That's about all there is to it. You got to the semi-finals, and you had I'm not sure who Italy actually beat in the other semi-final, but you had that crazy semi-final between Germany and France, where um, Germany definitely probably came a long way down in people's estimations after that one. You had the French team coming good and really playing some superb soccer, great midfield, as I said, and then that terrible incident where Battiston is put through. Not sure who puts him through, and he's more or less in on goal, and Schumacher, the German goalkeeper, comes out and, I mean, basically ignores the ball and almost decapitates Battiston. Battis is just left lying on the ground. I don't think one of those things the poor referee mustn't have seen much, didn't even see fit to book Schumacher, one of the worst, if not the worst, tackle any of us have ever seen on such a big stage. And like it just shows you, good guys don't always win. I mean, France did go 3-1 up, and then Germany dragged them back, and Germany won on penalties. So, in some ways, you'd be saying, is there a God? But on a personal level, I was actually looking at this that if France won that game, I wouldn't know who to shout for in the final because I got quite fond of Italy as well. The only time I have been fond of Italy. So, in certain sense, I was relieved Germany won because then I could shout for Italy, which I did. And then, of course, in the final, Italy destroyed Germany. I think Germany were probably had a little look in the mirror after that game, after what Schumacher did, and they weren't quite themselves because they were not a bad side. But Italy won reasonably easy, and that was it. That was the World Cup. I mean, the memory of that. Think of the aftermath of that. The Brazil team came in '86 again, but again, even with Zico added to that team, they were. I think France cut them in '86, and that German team, slightly better, got to the final again, and went down to Argentina 3-2. England got slightly better as well, I suppose. If it wasn't for Maradona, they'd be saying that they've won the World Cup, but the day England win the World Cup, I will personally run up and down looking at Quilla twice because it's not going to happen. Even with Bellingham, who just seems to be the real deal. But we're just looking at that and we're doing a bit of commenting on that today. And people are talking about guys like Rice. I mean, Rice is the most expensive 100 million player I've ever seen. And he's a very, very ordinary, average midfielder. Doesn't do much. In no way is he worth that money. You have guys like Henderson, who's way past it. You've got that guy with Man City, Foden. Can't see much. Bellingham, yes. If they get Bellingham right, because Bellingham seems to be an extraordinary player, and I think Jurgen Klopp is going to go to his grave. He's got that in his grave. I wish I could have signed Bellingham because he has that. And unusually, and I'll be very unpopular for saying this, but there's another guy. I think if England could sort him out, if a guy called Jadon Sancho could go to a decent club with a decent manager, then you could have real possibilities there because I just don't understand what's happened with United and Sancho. Sancho is a really, really good player. So what if he has a few issues? Everybody has issues. Even poor Roy Keane had issues, but he's still playing. Ferguson wasn't going to go into a sulk or a tantrum and put him on the bench because he said something or did something wrong. Can you imagine? So, as my poor son was saying recently, he's just wondering why this Dutch guy, Ben Hag or Denner Sen or Eight Hag, or I think it's Ten Hag, what's he doing? How does he have this job? Because, you can't fail. Even Moyes had a little period of success with United. Even David Moyes, and look at him now, you know, but on that level, and thank you for listening to me. It will get interesting, I promise, tomorrow because it's Saturday and there's surely something happening, you know. Even if it's the sumo wrestling in Japan, we'll go for that or whatever. But good night now, and God bless you all.